Hey traders, it's Kyle from K Capital. It's 6:16, about 7:15 Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. It's been about 10 days since the last video, but we've had a lot of activity over the past week and a half. First and foremost, congrats again to everybody who closed ANTH, another monster move for us. I think we closed plus 12% and plus 25% in that. Huge return, I think, in less than 5 days. So again, that's a perfect swing trade for us. It's ideally what we're looking for. In tonight's video, though, I wanted to quickly go over our open alerts and then one of the watch list stocks I'm still keeping an eye on, ONVO. First with RMBS, as you can see, this is pretty much consolidating to the right or sideways. It's holding the trend line from back in late 2014. So I think this is something that we're still going to hold on to. We're plus 8% in this. We alerted two separate alerts, I think in the high 13s and low 14s. This is something that I think as long as it holds this pivot point, we're still going to keep a nice eye on this just to make sure that we don't lose the opportunity potentially for this to break above this resistance pattern, or resistance level, I should say. I think eventually this will pop, and when it does, it's going to hit our target of 16 to 17 bucks. Again, which will be probably a nice 15 to 20% return in under 2.5 to 3 months. So TBD on what we're going to do with this guy, but for the time being, we're going to hold. Next is Chris. Chris, we are right around break even. I think we're plus 1% as we entered long at 313. So long term, this is definitely something that I think is going to unfortunately take a little bit of patience, but as we can see, every dip to this trend line has been bought into. And what I mean by that is, here was the first initial instance of where this kind of set that trend. It was bought back into at this level, and it's been bouncing across that several times. And fundamentally, there's 2 or 3 analysts with price targets of, I think, $6 to $7 on this stock. So I think if this holds this level through the rest of this week, trade sideways, I think eventually we're going to pop above 350 and maybe even see $4 in the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. And the reason I say 350 is this is the current level of resistance. And as you can see, if we zoom back out, you really have a nice bullish pennant here, bullish ascending triangle pattern. So it's just a matter of this level holding. As I said, we're not really even close to our mental stop loss. So it's something that, again, we're going to be patient with to see if this level holds. And then hopefully it does, and maybe this might be an opportunity to buy again into this. So see what happens here, but again, we're plus 1% in this. TNK, which is a tanker stock, is something that's heavily correlated to crude. One thing that definitely caught my eye when we originally alerted this is this level right here, but specifically the breakout candle here. What I typically look for in a play like this, on a breakout, is, again, not necessarily to buy the breakout, but to buy the dip. And so if we look at this, it had a high of 770, a low of 680, so roughly $1.10. Really what I would look for is the midpoint of that candle to hold as an act of support. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's trading sideways. I think it's going to consolidate before it continues back up to 8 to 850. Right now we're plus 7%, so it's a solid return, but I think there's more here as long as crude doesn't completely tank. And levels out at least a little bit. I think this is definitely something that might be a good opportunity to see 8 to 9 bucks. So we're going to continue to hold this. Next one is TTMI. Same kind of story here in the sense that we're plus 6%. And again, we're trading sideways before the next leg up. So I think it's the same thing as TNK, where the breakout candle, you're going to pull back a little bit. We saw huge volume coming here on the 9th of June. And I think it's going to trade sideways before continuing up. Fundamentally, there's 2 or 3 analysts with price targets, I think in the 11 to 12 to 1250 range, if I'm not mistaken. So again, this is just another instance of being patient. Hold this for a week or two to see what happens unless it completely retraces. Right now, we're in the black. We're plus 6%. So it's something that I think we're going to continue to hold. Next is the most recent alert, GERN. So this unfortunately pulled back again today, and we're now down, I think, 5.5%. The reason I haven't sold this yet is because if we look, this is definitely something that I still think is bullish. The reason I say that is I go back to this breakout candle. The midpoint is continuing to hold, and that midpoint's in the 350 to 380 range. I think as long as this channel continues to consolidate, it's only a matter of time before this pops. And I think if we look, there's been high spikes of volume here followed by low days of volume. So obviously someone is buying this as this continues to consolidate. And I think eventually, once this level pops, this sees $5 pretty quick. The only area that kind of concerns me is the fact that it hasn't happened over, 3 to 4 months. But again, I think it's just a matter of time. This would be ideal to, trade the kind of pattern. So buy low, sell at resistance or short. Someone's making a lot of money shorting this at the top and probably buying it right back at the bottom. But, unfortunately, that's not really our style. We like to obviously swing trade, so it's a little bit different. But I think in the long term, or at least in the short term here, this eventually will break this resistance level and pop to 5. At a minimum, I think it pops to 450. So let's see what happens with this. And another pattern, another one we're watching is ONVO. This is something that I think long-term is very bearish, which is the basic reason why I haven't really entered long yet. And really, if we want to look at it specifically, we can see this long-term trend is definitely holding a major level of resistance against this stock. But in the short term, the trend is definitely reversed. And if we look, it's pretty much holding that level. So let me zoom back out real quick so you can get the bigger picture. So really, ideally, I would want to see either buy on this dip here in the hopes that it breaks this top level, or wait for the actual confirmation. So for the time being, I'm going to hold off on this and just see what happens over the next week, or at least this week into tomorrow and Thursday. See how this trades. Right now it made a lower low than the day before, which is definitely bearish also. So it's something that I'm going to wait, hold off and see, and potentially either buy long to sell for a quick clip at 6, or wait for the breakout and then go long after that. So definitely more to come on this guy. I'm going to go through the scans tonight, see if I can find more opportunities for the rest of this week. I also updated the performance page, so within that you'll see all our trades, I think through last week. Right now I think we're sitting in the 125 to 130 range net of commissions. So it's been a great, 18 months for the, more or less all of you guys who've been with us from the beginning. So if you have any questions about our alerts or about our process, about our affiliate program, we have a few members who are making a lot of money bringing new people to the community. Please, by all means, definitely shoot me an email and let me know. But happy trading, and please let me know if you have any questions. Talk soon, guys.